Paradox Rift is one of those sets that, didn't really get a lot of traction in the beginning, and the prices of the booster boxes really didn't do anything until just recently because now they're $125. But these booster boxes, for the longest time, in this whole time period you see here, you could find them everywhere from 90 to $100. There were just so much Paradox Rift booster boxes. And during this time, nobody was really talking about this booster box and this set. However, recently we know that, Scarlet and Violet, a lot of the booster boxes have started going up, and this started to follow along, and finally these have actually moved up to around what a lot of the other Scarlet and Violet booster boxes are now, and sitting at $125. Now, before when this was $90, $100, some other booster boxes from Scarlet and Violet were 110, 120, and a lot of people were talking about Paradox Rift, how this is a really good play because nobody really wants it, it has some good cards, and it's just a really underrated set. Now, I want to get to that point of this being an underrated set. So, I feel like back then when it was $90, I feel like then it was a super good pickup. But I feel like it's been too much now, especially online. I've seen it with a lot of Pokemon investing channels, including mine, where we now talk about Paradox Rift being this huge underrated play. But when you really look at the price of the booster box now as it is, and you look at the cards in the set, it doesn't make as much sense anymore. Because like I said, when these booster boxes were $90, it made sense. But when you look at now it's $125 and you look at the value of the cards in the set, it just really, to me, isn't there anymore because the most expensive card is the Groudon. This is basically, the main card that people are chasing for in the set besides the Roaring Moon. But other than that, this card is $70. This is mid 50s. And then you go down to the next card and it's only $30. And then you have a few more cards that are in the 30s or 20s. It has a lot of cards that are in the double digits. However, the main chases are just the Groudon and Roaring Moon. So if you look at the values in this set, there's no extremely expensive chase card. The Groudon is a pretty popular card, even though it's not that expensive, but there just isn't that huge chase, that huge card that has a lot of value, and that's what is the reason why I'm really not feeling that Paradox Rift at this time is a really good pickup because it just doesn't have a super expensive card, and right now it's at $125. Now, I've always said this, I've always compared Paradox Rift to Temporal Forces because honestly, they've always sort of been the same price. Temporal Forces being a little bit more expensive all the time, but the cards, in my opinion, have always had better artwork. I've always thought that Temporal Forces was just a stronger set, just artwork wise, and also in value. If you look at the top 5 cards in, Temporal Forces, you can see there's $100+ card, which Paradox Rift doesn't have. There's an $80 card that or that Paradox Rift doesn't even have. There's a $63 card, which is around the cost or the price of the Groudon. Then you have another card that's $50, then one that's $37, $36, $31, $30. You can see that this has a lot more cards that are more expensive than Paradox Rift. And when you look at the prices of the booster boxes, you can see here there's only a $10 difference. And in my opinion, a $10 difference in booster boxes is so negligible. And just looking at the value you're getting with Temporal Forces in the set, it has a way more expensive card than Groudon, as it's $30 more. To pay $10 more for a Temporal Forces booster boxes, I just feel like it makes more sense. Because like I said, back then, if this was $90 still, 100% I would say it's a good play. But this set just really, I feel like has been sort of inflated that it's a really good set. Because honestly, in my opinion, it's just alright. It's not bad by any means. But when you compare it to Temporal Forces, I mean the artwork, I know it's all opinionated, I understand. But you can also see in the value, but the artwork, in my opinion, is just, it's so much better. It has the 3 legendary dogs or whatever. It just is way better in my opinion. And just it being $10 more, if you are in between buying either of these, Temporal Forces or Paradox Rift, in my opinion, I would go with Temporal Forces. Now, I haven't showed you guys this or talked about it really at all, but I bought some more Temporal Forces booster boxes because I really believe that this is going to perform extremely well because the artwork in the set is really, really good. And I don't have a single Paradox Rift booster box And maybe that surprises you, maybe not, but really, I just Temporal Forces has always been just a better set, and I was able to get these recently, for a really really good price. So it just didn't make much sense for me to go with Paradox Rift because I only had to pay another $5 more for a Temporal Forces booster box. So I obviously went with Temporal because Paradox Rift is just not as strong of a set than Temporal Forces. And Paradox Rift, it like some people have called it the chilling reign of Scarlet and Violet. I've heard that. But honestly, in my opinion, I would say Temporal Forces is more of a chilling reign because it just has more expensive cards. Like, and it's a pretty deep set like Paradox. But yeah, I really think, Paradox Rift has been sort of overinflated to be such this great set, like a lot of people have said. But I think at the prices, it's not. Like, yeah, like I said, at $90 it is, but now, I wouldn't pay 125 for this, like, at all. So tell me in the comments below what you think about Temporal Forces versus Paradox Rift at these prices. Which one would you pick up and why? Because like I said, I don't have a single Paradox Rift booster box, and honestly, I don't know if I'm really going to because I'd rather just get Temporal Forces because I have places I can get these at for a really good price that's actually even cheaper than Paradox Rift now. So that's what I'm doing, and that's sort of my thoughts on Paradox Rift. I always thought it was just an okay set, but people overinflating it now has sort of making me, want to make a video like this where I talk about it because it's all right. And especially now, it's not really worth it in my opinion. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.